Grab your clubs and settle in because it's time for Club Pro Chatter. Join your Minnesota PGA pros, Greg, Scott, and Jack, as they swing into the world of golf and beyond. Get ready for candid conversations, insider tips, and a whole lot of laughs. Let's tee off.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Club Pro Chatter, Season 8, Episode 8. We have a special guest on today, and I'm not talking about Scott McDonald. It's Trey Fessler. Trey, how you doing this morning?
Oh, ready for another October day.
Do you, first, this doesn't count as one of my questions, get a lot of lessons this time of year, or are people kind of done with that?
I get a lot of high school kids this time of year.
Okay.
A lot of high school, college kids. Most of the kids who want to play college golf. We're talking about a lot of the mental stuff.
Sure.
This time of year, using other people with resources to get these kids kind of over the hump with playing.
I often wonder how teaching pros do late in the season as people are kind of winding down their game in Minnesota and maybe heading south for the winter or maybe not. But so that's good to hear. All right, first question, Trey, son of a PGA professional, might be, Scotty, help me. First one, have we had any kids of a PGA professional in any of our guests? Maybe Cal's could.
Andrew Israelson.
Did we have Andrew? Okay. Well, I didn't ask Andrew this question. I didn't ask Andrew this question that I'm about to ask you, Trey. Growing up young, Trey, how did you view your pops? How did you view the business? How did that affect your life? I never asked Andrew that one. I'm very curious as to see from your perspective of dad's always gone or dad's at a tournament or, yeah, dad took me golfing, or tell me how it went for you and how you viewed the PGA professional.
Well, I enjoyed it because from about the age of 2 to 18, I was at the golf course with him every day that I could, even in the winter. And it was like, it didn't matter if I was like at Pheasant Acres running around on a scooter or if I was at Riverwood on the far side of the range just beating balls till my hands bleed. It was awesome because I was at the golf course with him every day. I didn't quite realize how much he was at the golf course because I was with him every day. But it was really fun because I saw him go through the board of directors, end up becoming president with the Ryder Cup, and then see him kind of transition out of it as I got older. But I really enjoyed it. I got to play in some pro-ams when I was like 12. So that was really fun being able to just be around golf and be around guys like Marty and JD and Marshall Hoynes. I met them when I was like 10. So it was really fun for me.
It's cool. Scotty, go ahead. You're next.
Yeah. Obviously, Greg and myself both served with your father. We hold him in the highest regard. I consider your dad a mentor and just a great PGA professional. I guess my question to you would be, obviously golf was in your blood. Obviously you wanted to compete after college. Did you ever see yourself becoming, getting into the golf business, becoming a PGA pro?
Yeah, I did. I knew I would always end up teaching in some capacity when it came to golf. It just came a little earlier when my dad got sick, and I was like, I need to be around a little bit more. Because at the time when he got sick, I was still playing. I had status on Latin America. I was chasing and trying to play and grinding every day. It turned into a job, and then the perspective really changed when he got sick. I was down in Florida, and we were down. He came down for the PGA Winter Series, pro junior or senior junior. It was me, my dad, and Joel Berger in Port St. Lucie for about 10 days. And that's where I kind of was like, it might be fun to go play PGA section stuff, not quite have to worry about the whole grind of trying to play. And it just, ever since I got in, I really like it. I like the tournament aspect. I like the kind of giving back. I mean, I don't have that high of a level of experience of playing, but I played in a lot of tournaments, so I can still give back with give back in the game with teaching and helping high school kids all the way to this 88-year-old that had named Margaret with two hip replacements. She couldn't hit the ball. It was, I knew I would at some point. I just didn't quite realize it was going to be when I was 23. That was going to be when I was like 40. So I like it though. I really do.
Jack Warrell.
Yeah, obviously, Trey, you're a great player. I've played with you. You're crazy long off the tee is not even like the terminology I would use for it. I played with you maybe a couple of years ago, if I remember right. But obviously some success this year, and I was looking up kind of your past. You're 25, is that right?
Yep.
Looking up your past kind of stats, and all of a sudden this season you've turned it on. I know you're here because of obviously the Golf Champions and Assistants Championship, but why all of a sudden is it clicking for you? What's going on with your game that you're suddenly feeling it and you're starting to win events rather than I see some more rounds in the 60s for sure. And I know you've always played well, but why all of a sudden in tournaments are you playing better?
There's something to be said where if you have a good boss that you work for, like Brock is absolutely phenomenal. He's like, he lets me play when I need to. If there's some time where I'm struggling, like early in the year, I really was playing really bad. But and like
what's really bad for you? What's really bad for you, Trey? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, I went up to the Pines.
75?
Yeah, 75, 76. Like it was like I went up to the Pines. I think I lost like 7 golf balls, and after that, it was kind of rock bottom for golf. But
I think rock bottom, Trey, when you tied Greg Snow at Minnewaska with 77. I mean, that's got to be rock bottom, right?
That day was actually pretty fun because I started the day with 3 5-putts. I was having some putting issues early in the year. So I went to reverse claw and putting like a putting stance like Jack Nicklaus the rest of the day, and I was like 2 under the rest of the day. It was great. But during that time, Brock really let me go practice and play and get away from golf a little bit. I mean, I'd still be teaching stuff, but like he's like, you got to figure out this game, man. So it was a lot of practicing, a lot of coming in. My first hour of my shift, he'd be like, all right, don't clock in, go practice, come back when you're done. And I credit a lot of it to being at Albany, working for Brock. And it's just, he's great. He's super supportive. He wants me to succeed. It's really easy to succeed when you have somebody that you work with that schedules you and he wants you to succeed.
Right. I love the emotional stuff, so I'm not going to let you off the hook on what you talked about earlier. As you know, your dad and I, we go, actually, he was the one who talked to me about getting on the board when I was very interested and, being part of it during the Ryder Cup and the whole thing. I remember the diagnosis, and I remember him when I asked him how it all went down and, how he kind of topped the ball at a state open, and all of a sudden he's getting looked at, for his eye. And tell me about how you received the news. And again, you kind of mentioned already that it changed your perspective a little bit, but it's kind of one of those moments where I'm guessing you remember where you were at. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was sitting in my dad's house in Hanover before he sold it. And I was sitting on the couch with Luke Clockers and Cal Thule. And we just got done playing Rush Creek. And I asked him, I was like, so what'd the doctor say? And we were all playing ping pong, and he said, you guys want to sit down for this? And he told us, and obviously me being his son, I was like, I didn't quite know what to do. So I just kind of went out to the garage, had some emotions come. And it was really interesting because we talked about it, and he's like, buddy, I got 3 to 6 months to live till this cancer takes my life. And now we're on year 3.5. Mm-hmm. He's in this trial thing in Jacksonville, and it's amazing what technology can do. Especially with medicine.
Let me follow up real quick, Scotty, if I could. Your dad, I don't know if you know this, Trey, your dad approached me shortly after that time and said, Greg, I'd like you to look at this job that I have. I work for the best owners in the world. And he says, I don't have much more time. And I didn't know how to handle it. I kind of did that. I don't want to talk about it, Steve. I don't want to be morbid about this, but every tournament I see him at, and every time I see you, of course, I see him, the father-son thing. And it's pretty cool that he's still in there. And I'm like, how you feel? He goes, feeling great. So, I mean, I love the decision you made to, hey, I'm going to go back and be part of the Minnesota section and do what my dad did for years. And again, no matter however much longer we have your dad around, it's all bonus time, and it's awesome because everybody lights up when they see him, and it's super cool. But I don't want to get too deep into the emotional stuff, but that's my area. That's what I like to get deep into those. So, Scotty, go ahead.
No, I just piggyback on that a little bit. And I don't know, you probably don't know this, Trey, but the year that your dad got that diagnosis, he was at the fall meeting at Midland Hills. And Greg and I are like, this is when I could actually play golf. We're like, we're going to play golf. Your dad was there. He's like, you guys are going to play? I'm coming with. And literally, I thought it was the last round of golf I was going to play with your dad.
He had the eye patch on.
He played. He had the eye patch on. We're playing. He played just the front nine with us. It starts raining, and it is nasty. And we're out there, and we're just like, we didn't even care. It was just one of the coolest moments. Greg and I always kind of have a battle, just back and forth, who's going to win. And he gave us the wrestling belt that you guys used to compete with, maybe because he's like, my son hits it so dang far, I'm never going to beat him again. Let these two compete against it. And it sits in my basement where it's lived for about 3 years, even though Greg has beat me a couple of times. But it was just one of the coolest experiences. And it is bonus time. The power of prayer is real. And I mean, it's just been fun to see him get some energy back and be able to compete, which is what he loves to do, and be around people he loves. So amazing what medicine can do. And it's just been so fun to have this time with him. So that's a moment, Greg, I know you and I will never forget.
Never forget it.
So, but let's talk about when this change happened with your putter. And what are you putting with now by chance? May I ask?
I'm using a broomstick Spider ZT that I bought from Osted's in St. Cloud.
And so if you look at July, it seems like the switch kind of happened at Rochester Golf and Country Club. Tough conditions, tough golf course. You make the cut, and then from there, it's been like off to the races, Trey. I mean, you win the Foundation Pro-Am, Assistance Championship, Golf Champions. I don't know if you've got a round where you finish outside the top 10 since then. So was that really like, did something else click, or what was it?
The putter's unbelievable. It changed my game. I rarely three putt. Like, my speed control is unbelievable. I'm very, very good inside of 5 feet. And also, I change a little bit with my short game and wedges. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this guy by the name of Joseph Mayo. I really kind of dove deep and did a lot of research on what he does, and my short game lately has been phenomenal. Like, at the golf champs the second day, I think I hit 2 fairways and like 9 greens, something crazy, but I was getting up and down from anywhere and everywhere. I'd be short-sided, like number 10 at Minneapolis. I was pin high, 35 yards right on that second day to back right pin and get up and down. And then what else? 14, I'm short of the green. No, short left at a bunker to front left pin, hit a bunker shot to about a foot, get up and down. I hoop one on 15 from 45 yards. It's like my short game has been just phenomenal the second half of the year, which I do credit to the putter. I mean, it's great. No, it's great getting up knowing you're going to make a putt.
Never felt that. Jack.
Well, obviously, Trey, you're playing well. I do want to bring up you did not play well in the fall scramble. Greg Snow's team did beat you. Greg wanted us to bring that up. Is that accurate? I just want to make sure if that's accurate or not.
Oh yeah, no, that's accurate. That's very accurate. I think they beat us by like 5.
Really?
Yeah, T17. Yeah. I'm looking at it. And you had
McCain on your team?
Yeah, me and McCain did not play well. Brock played pretty well, but me and Andrew did not play that well that day.
Just coming into, obviously you had a great season, right? You're coming off the Assistants Championship. It's kind of funny, actually. We see all these guys that get hot, right? Andrew was hot, I think, in the beginning of the year, it seemed like, and now you're getting hot. Like, what's your thoughts on the future? I have no idea if you're a Class A or not. What are your aspirations going forward here?
So I'm working through it. I'll be in level 2 in about once I get my portfolio back for the 3rd time, but I'll be in level 2.
Greg, how many years did it take you?
6.
Greg Snow, 6. Scott McDowell, how many years? 3. Holy
Always
cow.
An overachiever.
Man, what did Kelly Hoynes do it in? Like 3 months or something?
11 months. She has the record.
11 months.
11 months. It was
a lot tougher back then.
Sorry, Trey.
I was 7 years. I was right with Greg. 7 years. So you have some time, but I was just curious on your thoughts on that and moving forward after having a great year like this. It's got to inspire you to want to do, get through that and get to some more events and keep moving up the ladder.
Yeah, my biggest goal is anybody asks me, I tell them I want to play on a PGA Cup. I think that would be like the coolest thing to be a guy like. When I spent some time in Arizona, I got to know Marty Jertson, Jesse Mueller decently well. And Jesse was telling me about his time with in the PGA Cup. He's like, it's the coolest thing ever. Ever since I talked to him about that, I'm like, that's my goal. I want to do that. I want to play in 4 or 5 PGA championships. And if I do that in my career, I can say I had a successful career.
Awesome.
Trey, I don't get to hear the details on some of these, so I wanted to hear about the playoff with you and Andrew. Obviously, you guys both finished at 3 under. Bunker Hills, depending on rough, depending on time of year, can play really difficult. Also can play fairly easy. But obviously, the grass was probably growing pretty good. Was growing pretty good. Tell us about the playoff. Tell us a little bit about the event going into it, and how you felt, and give us all the lowdown.
Well, I didn't realize it was a pants-only event, so I got there my normal about an hour, 20 minutes before. Show up in shorts, and then I asked JD, because I've known JD since I was born. I'm like, is this a pants-only event? He goes, yeah. So I hightail it to Dick's Sporting Goods, spend $200 on 2 pairs of pants, get back about 20 minutes before my tee time. And, it was one of those where I knew I was playing well. I wanted to win. And after the first day, I put myself in a chance to win. And then coming down the stretch, I didn't really win per se. I just didn't lose, if that makes sense. I made a lot of pars. And then the playoff was fun with Izzy, because we got up on the first tee and Izzy looks at me and goes, yeah, this playoff doesn't mean anything. The real playoff is going on hole 10. I'm like, because me and him can't go to nationals.
Yeah.
So we were just playing for a check, which was fun. You guys all know 18 at bunker, dogleg left. I get up there, I feel good. I absolutely just fan it into the right trees, just over that bunker. Hit it to about 35, 40 feet. Izzy hits it about 25 feet on the right fringe. It's a front right pin. And I end up canning a 35-footer to win, and he misses. So sometimes you get lucky. I put that one as I got lucky because I don't think I hit one good shot that hole.
Was Hockman also part of the playoff, or was he?
No, it was just us two.
Okay. So, because he was already in, so okay, that makes sense. All right, Trey, Scotty or Jack, any final questions for Trey? I mean, dude, we could probably talk golf all day. It has been fun to watch you beat up on people out there. I still think about your win at the Marcus Construction Pro-Am a couple of years ago when one of our playing partners finished on the Kingery corner hole. And I think that one kind of got me to know you a little bit more. And then later that year, we played in the facility team championship with you and your dad. And then I got to watch it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this guy hits it in places that I didn't think existed unless I was hitting my third. And so it's fun to kind of see that. It hurts, but it's fun. You could probably know it's the same emotion your dad feels. Like, I mean, it stinks that you're so good and you hit it so far, but it's also fun to go, dang, that's how easy it can be when you know how to drive the golf ball. So, Jack or Scott, any final thoughts here with Trey?
Obviously, Trey, we knew this was coming. I played the red tees at the preserve yesterday for the Tuesday game, and I kind of thought to myself, this was what Trey feels out there from the real tees. So I knew it was coming. Obviously, congrats and keep it going. And I don't think any of us doubt that that's not going to keep going for you. So thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah, Trey. Good luck with the winter. I guess obviously you're going to be coaching basketball up by to get a cup of coffee. You going to be able to do any winter series stuff? Think go down for Port St. Lucie?
No, I won't. In the winter, I'm 100% basketball. The kind of
okay.
I don't really touch my clubs.
Well, he's off my list for the pro junior or the junior senior. I was going to see if you could go with me, Trey, but okay, you're done.
We should have talked some basketball today.
Jack's a basketball guy too, Trey. He's not an official, but he loves it. Scotty's not very athletic. He's just a good golfer. So, all right, Trey, thanks a ton for coming on, buddy. Good luck with the rest of the season and also in basketball. I hope to see you out there. We've already talked about possibly us repping some games up there, and good luck with that. And we'll be seeing you on the b-ball court. And then spring will be here before you know it. We'll be whacking them again.
Absolutely. Guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Trey.
Thanks, Trey.
Have a good one.
All right, Scotty, next item of business, State of the Union. Sometimes we do State of the Section. I'll let you do both if you'd like. Obviously coming off I'm not even calling it a disappointing Ryder Cup because the outcome was probably what many of us thought. I think we
predicted that, Greg. I think we predicted it on this podcast, didn't we?
Yeah, I had the Europeans winning, and actually when they were blowing them out, I kind of going, yeah, I think their lineup was stacked. So, Scotty, from a State of the Union perspective, because I try to tell everybody this is a little bit bigger than W's and L's for us PGA of America members. This is our financial well-being for the next 4 years, satisfies all of our programs, gives us some things that we've never had before, like deferred compensation. I can't imagine that program would be around without a Ryder Cup. So, Scotty, I know it's maybe too fresh or too new. Maybe you don't have all the information, but can you give us an overview or a big picture flyover of how the event overall went and how are the coffers, or did it blow out some numbers? Tell us a little bit about how that all went.
I think, I listened to the last two podcasts again yesterday, and you guys were spot on how that Ryder Cup shook out. It was like you guys were fortune tellers. It was perfect. I think your analysis was unbelievable. So kudos to you. Greg, it was looking like it was going to be a 5-point win going into Sunday. And, it was a lot of fun to watch on Sunday. I think the event from a viewership perspective would have been a complete bomb if it wasn't for the Sunday charge, which was great. I think, we don't know specifics as to the financials of how the event went yet, but I think just being in New York, just being how much corporate partnerships there are out there, I have to imagine from a monetary standpoint, it was very, very lucrative. As you both know, where that money lies is the TV rights, which is a fixed amount, a contract that's signed with NBC. Although NBC got a little heat from the USA coverage, it wasn't great. The sound was not great. But from a monetary standpoint for the association, I think it was a good event. From a PR perspective, let's just say it was a bogey, in the words of our current PGA president. I think it got out of hand. We all would agree with that. I think we handled things very poorly. We've already sorry about that. We've already owned up to that, and hopefully, as a PGA member, my hope is that this does not affect us going forward for future championships, the way we handled things. I think our stock could never be lower after that event and how everything transpired. And to be honest, we have some work to do to get our reputation back. I really truly believe that. This event, I see no way, shape, or form that we are not significantly heavy underdogs going overseas, and it is going to be interesting what transpires in the next 2 years as to who the captain is. I got news for you. Anybody that thinks it's going to be Tiger Woods, I'm almost guaranteeing that's not going to happen. You think Tiger Woods wants to lose a Ryder Cup on the road and lose it badly? I don't think so. I think there's a very, very good chance that he's the Ryder Cup captain at Hazeltine, which would be awesome for Minnesota golf. And I think we need to be looking at 2029 and what we need to do to win that next domestic Ryder Cup and to right the ship.
Jack, thoughts?
Yeah, I just don't even know what the next move is at this point. I mean, I just feel it feels slightly embarrassing. It feels the fact that we knew that and we felt it just from our little position here at the section tells you that it's worse than we think. And I don't know. You can feel it, right? I mean, Greg, I feel like there's just no camaraderie. I mean, I hate to bring it up, but the only person I felt like that was just fighting was DeChambeau, and he wasn't perfect out there clearly, but he at least had some fire in him, and I that combined with the crowd and I just don't even know where you start. I don't even know where you start to try to get this all turned around. It's almost like a back to the drawing board. You got to find a very, very classy, captain that's going to bring this team back and think differently and maybe copy what they're doing. All right. Copy how good Luke Donald is. I mean, are you kidding me? The guy's perfect right now. He does everything well. He's organized and he's got the right, mentality and his, when he's speaking, it's perfect. And it's kind of, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Maybe just, join them. Can't beat them, join them a little bit and then try to piggyback off that.
Yeah, I do have some thoughts, and I actually would love to raise my hand on where to start with this because I'm not that I have all the answers. I just think, Scotty, you remember I was on the call with our brand new COO, maybe of the
Craig Kessler. Yep.
With Kessler, and I brought this up at that point. I said we got a mess on our hands, and it's going to culminate in the Ryder Cup. We're not going to have our best players. So where I want to see us start, and Scotty, I know you have some pull. You're kind of in that room, but I want to see Liv get points. That's really what it comes down to for me, is you got to figure out a way. For crying out loud, a Tiger Woods event coming up with 22 guys, they're getting official world golf ranking points. So don't tell me you can't figure this out. It's lazy by saying, wow, they don't play 4 rounds, they play 3 rounds. And I'm not even sure that any of those guys would have qualified anyways. But at the end of the day, we got to have more fighters. And a lot of the guys who went to live are the fighters. And that's the issue that I thought JT showed some grit. I thought he was trying to play, fight a little bit. But you're right. We're getting out putted. We're getting out classed a little bit. And I think that's what we change it. I don't see us winning either, Scotty, in 2027. So this has kind of got to turn around by 2029 and get back to Hazeltine. But I also want to give you a little, what my other perspective, Scotty, as a guy in charge like you are, of we can't control everything. I don't even think we need to be embarrassed about this. We can't control the guy out there in the crowd who was willing to spend $15 for 35 beers and to say things that no normal human would say. There's a reputation on the East Coast. Everybody knew it. You want to solve it? Don't have a Ryder Cup at Bethpage. It's pretty simple. We didn't see this at Hazeltine. I was there 2 days at Hazeltine. There wasn't any of that. I didn't hear anybody calling out Rory at Hazeltine or calling it. And Rory was doing the old, him and P. Reed, they were jawing back and forth. And I didn't hear that thing getting too out of hand. And then eventually P. Reed and McIlroy hug each other, and it's like, we're just golfing, having fun. And I just don't think the PGA of America needs to beat themselves up so bad at this. I think that we put a product in a hostile environment and then expected them to be angels. That wasn't going to happen. Now, could our people have maybe done some things different? Could we have paid for a lot more security for what? To kick 20 more people out, 40 more people out? So I'm not on this guy. I'm not a beat us up as a PGA of America. I do think it lies into, if we were more competitive those first 2 days, I don't know that we would have had a lot of that. But I think the crowd felt like they got to help the team. So I've got to do my part. How do we do it as a fan in the stands? I got to heckle because there wasn't anything to cheer for. So the perspective of sport is crazy when you think of it that way. But I am not as disappointed in the PGA of America as many people are. I think we run fantastic events. I wasn't even disappointed in the setup, and here's why. People were arguing about that. It was set up exactly like Hazeltine. Exactly. Everything cut down, hit it anywhere you want. Bunkers all fed down into the and we won at Hazeltine. So it's bigger. I would agree with Jack on that. It's bigger than just some little tweaks. But I would start with find a way to get live guys points. That's my take. All right, beat that up, you two.
Well, I just
okay. So
yeah, go ahead, Scotty.
I was just going to say, Greg, I'm not worried about the unruly fans. That's going to happen, and especially on the East Coast. But how our association handled the response to that, how our president handled that response was not correct. Like acting like it wasn't even happening. That's not right. You should not have just brushed it under the rug. People clearly crossed the line. I get that we couldn't control them crossing the line, but the aftermath and how we handled everything, how we handled the trophy presentation, how we handled all of that was not good.
Okay, you were more disappointed in that side than the fan side. Okay.
The fans, it's going to happen. But here's what I think we should do. Here's the blueprint. Live points, yeah, Greg, that's fine. Maybe one person gets on the team. But I'm going to throw a crazy idea at you. Here's what I would do. I would make Mike Small, PGA member, the head coach. He's one of the best coaches in NCAA golf. You know what then I would do? I would put a Miracle on Ice-like team. Just put some guys from the Americas Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, that actually are hungry and want it. And maybe you throw in the automatic qualifiers, but clearly the guys at the top, it doesn't mean anything to them. The Europeans just want it more. And I don't think in 2 years it's going to change with the top players in the world saying, oh, grilling means something to me now. I get that might be crazy, but clearly you need some guys that really, this is a big deal for them. And they really want it. And maybe they don't understand the magnitude of the moment and they go do something crazy. But we can't continue to rinse and repeat because clearly it isn't working. And clearly they're just better right now.
They're better. Jack?
Couple things. You're right, you can't control the crowd, but you can create a culture. The golf world we live in now is nowhere near what it was in the past. You guys know that. The people that are playing golf, right? Top Golf and the obviously COVID and all this has created these new players. And that nostalgic feel of golf is a little bit gone. I'm wearing shorts every day. Maybe I shouldn't be. Trey's wearing shorts. He shouldn't be. The bottom line is the Europeans are better at that. They're better at having that nostalgic background, the history, and maybe we have to create that a little bit more to get our fans to realize that's part of this game, and having respect when people hit a golf shot, not saying get in the bunker before the guy's going to hit. I mean, what are we doing here? You can't control that, but maybe you can create a little bit of culture prior to the event and emphasize how important that is for the Americans to, honor that feeling. So that's just one thought. You guys are talking about live points and PGA Tour America players coming in there. The bottom line is the Europeans play together every freaking year. They're singing the same song on the bus that they sang last time. They know each other. They know how they play. They know who they play well with. And we keep trying to figure out these pairings that are going to work, and they don't work. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in the same damn team and saying, all right, guys, you screwed it up last time. Now learn from that and who plays and get in a room and speak freely, not just the captain. Maybe they do this. I don't know. But someone have a voice. All of you have a voice and say, hey, I play really well with Scotty. I want to play with him. That's my guy. And get these things out there on the table where we're not just trying to guess, because clearly we're guessing. Clearly it's a guessing game. And I love the stat people, saying that these two players can't play together, that they're going to for sure lose. And, we heard that in the background. That stuff doesn't even matter. I don't even think the Europeans are even thinking about that. They're like, I play really well with Rory. I'm going to go play with him. And I think that's what they're doing. And it's working. And that, you guys know how this works. You play well with, sometimes I play really well with Greg, let's just say. All right. I don't know if I really do, but we try to. I want to play with Greg. I have that camaraderie. So, it's putting those pairings together, putting those thoughts into this team and having someone that comes in that's a captain that, not to swear, but doesn't give a crap, right? And just says, I'm doing it this way. I don't care if I got burned on the other end. I think they're so protective of how am I going to be portrayed in social media and everywhere else. And you saw him getting defensive. Keegan Bradley got defensive on all his interviews. Don't care about that, right? Care about the win. That's my 2 cents on it. It's more of a feeling for me than it is stats.
Does captain matter to either of you for 2027?
Nah, not one bit. I don't even think it needs to be a golf captain.
Yeah, I would agree with.
He gone.
He was hanging in there so good.
He gone.
That is a great still shot of Scotty right there. He'll try to get it back. Jack, I'm kind of with you on this. I'm not sure that the captain matters. For going overseas, I wouldn't be opposed to a Michael Jordan. Something silly like that just
Larry Bird. Let's get Larry in there.
Larry doesn't care about golf as much as Michael. But, something to that effect, where they kind of are a little more carefree. And then to your point, the players in the room would kind of determine. Jordan would be kind of a yes man, so to speak, but the front of the house, the face guy, the interviews, the competitive, the fire that I just picture him at Medina in Chicago when they kept showing him over and over and over again. And the Americans were doing really good. Then we lost handily in singles, in that year to lose the Ryder Cup. But They showed Jordan over and over again that he was Davis Love's kind of right-hand guy for whatever, motivation, nostalgia, you name it, all the things you mentioned. But
let's get Barkley in there. Little Barkley.
Throw some Barkley if you want some.
Straight. He'll talk it straight.
You want quotable quotes? You're going to get it from Barks, that's for sure.
Jack in there.
Hey, Jack, I feel honored that we had Scotty for as long as we did today, so that was pretty good. You always call October silly season, actually maybe even into September a little bit. How's your silly season going, and what do you got left on the calendar?
Yeah, I wrote silly season on my golf ball as I played the red tees on the Tuesday game yesterday. Greg, I shot 11 under, my best round of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Preserve?
Yeah, Preserve. Yeah, I didn't beat, the only goal that we all have on the red tee is to beat Haugen's red tee scorecard record that he has framed at the Preserve.
Right?
57, I thought it was. I'll be honest with you, I was nowhere near at 61. So it's pretty amazing record that I don't think will ever go down. But yeah, silly season's going well. It's been an unbelievable weather year. We just played, obviously we had the facility team championship, which is always fun. We had our fall scramble at the Legacy, but the big one that's coming up for us is the Ironman is coming up at Pines and Preserve. One of my favorite events of the year. I'm missing Bundy this year. But we have a fill-in that's going to maybe beat out Bundy. So it's been going well.
Hey, Scotty's back. Scotty, we slipped into silly season. So why don't you, I don't know if you got volume. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your upcoming schedule? President of the section, this is when it gets crazy for you. So what do you got for golf left and maybe meetings coming up? And I know I talked to Andrea, early November, you're headed to, she told me and I can't remember. You tell us.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. Oh, nice close-up. This is much better. You're so much prettier now.
So get this. My phone told me it was too hot. Apparently our discussion on the Ryder Cup was too hot. It had to shut down.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Anyways, silly season, Greg, awesome playing at the fall scramble, 14 under. Who was making all the putts is my question.
Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd love to tell you about this if I could. We shot 14 under and we made 9 what I call missable putts. Okay, that's the yardage. Or the footage was outside kick-in. We had 3 kick-ins, and of the 9 putts, 2 of them were eagles. So that got us to the 14 under. Pat Addison,
what's a missable putt for you? What is a missable putt length for you?
12 feet and outside.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
So as we tallied up, we think we made 160 feet of putts. Pat Addison made 4 in a row, and he was our 3rd putter. And they were all what I'd call missable. And Max Saby made 2, and I made 3, which is 3 more than I make usually in a month. So the putting, Pat says, as we're putting our clubs in the bag and people ask us how we were doing, Pat summed it up best. We way overachieved. But that's the beauty of golf. I was half walking, getting ready for Friday, Scotty, and carrying my Sunday bag. And so I never checked the phone, which is unusual for me. And then with about 3 holes left, somebody said, yeah, you guys are leading. We're like, huh? But as you look back, you're like, we made some bombs. So, the Fesslers and McCain, the good team like that, you can have great players if you're not making putts. We could have easily shot 7 under. I'm not kidding. 7 under was not out of the question. But instead it turned into 14. All right.
Well, good for you guys. I'm glad you pointed that out to Jack and I yesterday. Like I looked briefly at it, and obviously I'm not looking for snow in the top 5 at the fall scramble.
Gets better. On our drive out there, I say to Max Saby, the pro to Olivia, Pat Addison, my assistant, I go, guys, if we go a 3-3-3 on our team, nobody is betting us. Not one person looks at our team and says, and they're like, I'm in, let's do it. And I go, and then Pat or Mac goes, should we do a 5-5-5? And I go, no need. I said, there's no need. There's nobody else betting.
Greg, I might have this wrong, but aren't we a fall scramble champion?
2010, Jack Worrell. We beat
So I think
11 other
was it
teams.
Jesse, you and I at Deacon's Lodge, and because it was north and no one likes to travel in the fall, I think there was only like 10 teams, but we did win.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. I told these guys on the way out. I said, if I'm the third best player on the team, we have a chance. If I'm the first or the second, we're done. We don't have a chance. And that's what happened in that one. I was third wheel, by far not even close. And then yesterday, Max Saby hit some unbelievable golf shots. Pat was rock solid, and then we made those putts. So it was a big time overachievement in that one. I do remember in that one, we were probably the favorites, actually, Jack, because we had Jesse.
I remember it being the most effortless whatever we shot.
17 under.
Effortless. It was unbelievable. They're all tap-ins.
There was we didn't make very many bombs that day.
No, none.
All right, Scotty, back to you. Sorry, come on. Finish this up. We got to go here in a couple minutes. So.
I like hearing about it. So great for you guys. So, yeah, kind of the busy season for me starts next actually on Sunday. I'm at Hazeltine for the District 8 meetings. I'm triple booked on Monday, but I'm going to be at the Dakota Chapter Championship at Oxbow. There's still time to sign up. Greg, I think we might be over 30 players.
Yeah,
biggest field ever.
Yeah, Nathan Kyle said it's the biggest field ever, and the Dakota Chapter is doing well and growing, and having this event at really good venues. I think that helps.
Yes. So Oxbow is going to be fun on Monday, and then from there, we've got a board meeting the following week, and then it's our fall meeting 2 weeks from this coming Monday. So we've got that. I think that's the 27th.
At Bunker Hills.
Is it at Bunker? Okay, thank you. I should know where I'm going.
No, and you got a lot on your plate here, dude.
Yeah,
then you got nationals.
So then, yep, Kaylee says Bunker Hills. We do have some spots open for the board of directors. So if anyone's interested, by all means, they can reach out for questions on what that time commitment looks like. But I think there are 4 spots available on the board of directors. So then Kaylee says, yep, thank you. And then from there, PGA annual meeting, first week in November, which is in Frisco, Texas. I am not going to that. I have a work obligation. My sales meeting for TaylorMade is at Carlsbad the same exact time. So in lieu of me, we have an alternate delegate by the name of Mr. Andrew Gerber. So Gerbs is going to go instead of me. Kelly and Vern are going to be there. Phil's on the board of directors. We've got JD. We've got John Tillett. And for the first time ever, which I think is a good move, Tone Polito is going as well. So this is a non-election year. So I haven't seen any resolutions that have come to the board. We have already elected to membership by unanimous vote. Someone by the name of Peter Broom, who worked for Acushnet for a very, very long time, and he's battling some severe health issues. So that was approved back in August. So that's the only really matter of business that I know was pending, but I'll know more after this District 8 meeting on Sunday.
Awesome stuff. All right, you two, let's have a great end of the year, and we'll get through all this good stuff, and we'll carry on with the old Club Pro chatter. Any final thoughts from the two of you? Anything pressing?
I just want to say Jack's analysis of the CRMC and what goes into it, I found fascinating. He did a great job telling what the behind the scenes, what goes into it, and also great work on that event, Jack. Seeing as though you don't return any phone calls, I wanted to do that publicly and let you know that you're doing great things, and it was an awesome event. I really was hoping Derek Hitchner was going to get that big win, but he got his card. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour. That event catapulted him. He played great the rest of the year.
I appreciate that, Scott. I will start calling you back here soon. I was just wondering if you're going to come back to a podcast first. So anyway, I appreciate it very much. Obviously, we love this event. And, secretively, I wanted Hitchner to win it. At that moment, there was so many Hitchner fans around the green. But I saw that he obviously qualified for Corn Ferry, and I was playing in the facility team, and Marshall was one hole over, and I go, how about our buddy Hitch? And he's clearly so excited. And that makes me just so happy, because that's the stories that make this event so special and makes the tour so special. And you realize how important these small events are for these guys and them moving up the ladder. So thanks for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Well, glad we can finally have conversation. We have to have a podcast to get it going. So Scotty got to show up. Jack got to talk to people. And when I texted yesterday, Kales, and said, you two got bad habits, we aired it out here. This is great. Thank you both. All right. Greg Snow signing off with Scott McDonald, Jack Worrell, Kaylee in the background. This was season 8, episode 8. And we hope to see you all next time. Have a great one, everybody.